Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm great, and yourself?
Good. When you guys get back to work, what's the main focus? What do you guys really try to hone in and emphasize this week?
Like it is every week, the main emphasis is always getting better. Be your best you, and that takes great preparation throughout the week with film study, playbook study, everything that goes into being a professional athlete and football coach.
When you come out of Monday's game, where do you feel like you have your best opportunity to get better? Where do you need to improve most, specifically?
For us, that first quarter, there's it's getting very frustrating because when we play clean ball like we did the second, third, and 12 minutes of that fourth quarter, it was pretty good, pretty darn good. When we play, when we're not communicating and there's lack of execution, it is not pretty, and that's the thing that's happening is we make the smallest mistake and it's going for a lot of yards, and but when we're locked in as a defense and we're executing exactly what's being called, it's up there with some of the better teams in the league, in my opinion. And so the consistency is what we're looking for coming out of the Green Bay game, is to be more consistent in how we take every play.
When you watch just the first play of the last 2 weeks, it's pretty easy to just say, how can that happen on the first play of the game? So how does it happen on the first play?
First, always look to myself first. What are we installing? What are we teaching? And whether or not a player can or cannot learn what we're asking, or is it too much? Big lights, big stage. What are we doing schematically? But and then from there, it's evaluation all the way top down. So for it to happen on the first play of the game like that, very, very frustrating. But what I do think was great was the fact that after the first 15 plays where we got punched in the mouth on defense the way we did, gave up 17 quick ones, did have a good red zone stand in there. But after that, those guys rallied up and fought their tails off throughout that game and did a really, really good job all the way in, and really up until that 3-minute mark where, Aaron got the ball at midfield, had a chance on the 3rd and 6 that scored. And then even in that last scoring drive, the guys fought their tails off, get the sack to force a punt backed up that I thought won the game. I thought we were going to get the ball at midfield, thought we were going to get a first down, thought we were going to kick a field goal and go home. It was very unfortunate with the flag, but, it is what it is. And then from there, Aaron did Aaron. So
you mentioned the communication. It seemed like that first play there was a miscommunication on the coverage there, and then also there was a miscommunication on the touchdown, the bubble screen. As a coach, how do you coach communication, and how do you go about improving that?
For one, you put them through it as many times as you can in practice. That's first and foremost. So you go through your teaching throughout the week. You put them through as many clips as possible, just from the classroom standpoint. It's like we talked about. There's 5 things that we take pride in as coaches, at least in this building. Number 1 is giving it to them in writing. Number 2 is show it to them on tape. Number 3 is get them a walkthrough rep. Number 4 is get them a rep when we're out there in individual or group install. And number 5 is to get them a live rep of it in practice. And it's our job as coaches to find a way to get them all 5 of those for them before we can ever look to a player. So it's always to us first. And so for a communication standpoint, to continue to push. And on the flip side, players, we're all in it together. And so we all got to take heart to what we're trying to teach and what's being asked of everybody. So, like I said, it comes back to us and filters down from top down. So
when there's an experienced team that communicates really well, what are the characteristics of that, and how do you try to? It's a lot of these guys are young guys. I understand that, and they're relatively new to the system. But what's the difference between where you guys are at and some of the veteran defenses that really have that communication down?
A veteran defense has seen a lot of football. They've seen it before, and it's like, for me, I turn on the tape and I see, it pops off the tape. Well, of course they ran that play. What else are they going to run? And to a veteran, who's been in the league 4, 5, 6 years, they start to see that, and it's very, very easy for them. They start to see it as a football coach, and they can just there's a lot of recall, and there's a lot of things through experiences that can happen to them. So some of the stuff that happens is new to the guys, and because they are a young group, but at the same time, it is no excuse, because the whole point of our scheme and what we do ask our players, because we don't do a lot, we ask our players to know a lot, and we have to, as a defense, start understanding what offenses are trying to do to us at a much faster pace. That's how we can get those young bodies playing at a very, very high level, rather than being at the tail end of your career where you're not as fast as you used to be, but you're a lot smarter than you used to be. How can we get those young, fresh, fast bodies to play like a veteran? And that's where we got to get better, and that comes with, again, getting better every single week.
What were the plays that Chris referenced? Did you get all 5 of those teaching points in last week?
Throughout camp, throughout OTAs, you get them in. Obviously, you can't cover everything every single week. It's impossible. That's where the players come into play. That's where everyone working as hard as they can to get their work in. You go off of what they show out on tape, and you just continue throughout the process of your rules, just following your rules. So if something pops up that you're not familiar with or you have not seen, you play by your rules. And my rules tell me to do this, and you trust that 9 out of 10 times your rules will steer you in the right way, and that's all you can ask for. So, other than that, hopefully I answered your question.
What was the breakdown during Rodgers' 20-yard scramble on the final drive? Who was responsible for the A-gap on that play?
You know what, the play seemed to have gone on forever, and I think he was in the pocket, and at that point, when Aaron starts extending plays, we talked about Plaster last week, finding coverage and it basically turns into man coverage. So in the back end, everyone's back is to the quarterback, and we are just running and trying to grab coverage so he doesn't have a freebie. So from there, space gets created. Whoever's responsible for the A-gap at that point, it doesn't matter. I'd love to sit here and say we should have won a one-on-one early in the down, got him down. There's no reason for him to be able to sit in the pocket the way he did. But that 21-yard scramble or whatever it was, that one hurts, especially in zone coverage.
After that play, Rodgers targeted Maven pretty relentlessly. In retrospect, was there something you could have done to help Maven in that situation or force Rodgers to throw a different direction?
100%. Could have been better. It could have been a lot better. Protecting the sideline. There's a lot of things that go into film study and what we were seeing on tape. Ball at midfield, trying to protect points. 1 first down. Now it's a 50-yard field goal for Crosby, who seemed to get his leg back. You can protect the sideline with zone, and they dump one over the middle, and they had plenty of time to just go spike it. So there's a lot of things that went into play. I won't get too much into schematics. I'm always looking to see how we could have done a lot better as a staff, and felt good about it at the time. And it's unfortunate the way it ended.
Kyle said yesterday about Armstead and Buckner maybe not getting a lot of snaps on Monday, and how they lost during the week, or they lost position during the week. What do you want to see out of those guys and Solomon as well over the course of this week?
You mentioned Armstead and Buckner.
Yeah.
Buckner had a good amount of reps. Again, it goes back to the first question I answered, but that it is just getting better, being relentless through practice, showing that you deserve the right to play. From a D-line standpoint, I'll speak about them. Sheldon has produced a lot with very little playing time, so we felt like we owed it to him to get him out on the football field, to give him a chance to go rush the passer, and he produced. He had some good production in there. Forced a hurry on one throw where it would have been a challenging route to defend. And then on the second, and he also had a sack. So, but it's throughout linebackers, DBs, and D-line, showing in practice that you deserve the right to play by being relentless in your approach and being deliberate in how you go about it.
Last year you weren't able to sack off. How much is that him being able to kind of slide around the pocket, and how much of that is the way they scheme, the way they protect?
They do a good job. He does a really nice job getting the ball out on time. We did sack him. We had an illegal contact, if I remember right. That was Dumerville's 100th sack that got called back. But they do a really nice job. They do a nice job. McVay does a great job. The quarterback does a great job. They're very efficient in how they operate. So it's going to be a great challenge.
Whose job is it to call a timeout on that before that bubble screen happens for that easy touchdown?
Kyle gives us leeway to call it if we need it. Thought we were going to be able to recover and get to it based on where people were aligned initially. And in hindsight, it's always easy. But the way we initially broke and the way I saw it happening, I thought we were going to have it covered, and one missed it.
Richard, after the game, gave a pretty spirited defensive view, saying, unprompted, that he's seen a lot of stuff in the atmosphere, I guess, like social media, criticizing you. Does that stuff get back to you, and if so, does it affect you in any way? How do you deal with that?
No. You know what? In our profession, there's two types of coaches. There's those who have been fired, and there's those who are about to get fired. And so you just put that to the back burner. We get it. It goes with the territory. Have tremendous confidence in what we teach and how we go about our business, and I've got tremendous confidence in the players. Got tremendous confidence in the assistant coaches. So if you allow yourself to get in a world of things you have zero control over, which is people talking, it just takes away from your ability to do your best at any moment. Social media, I don't do it, I don't have it, and it's to be honest with you, it's a very uncontrollable aspect of life. And the more you focus on things you have no control over, the less you can focus on things you do have control over. So to make a long answer short, I don't get involved with it.
Couple more.
You talked about, you kind of referenced the fact that your scheme is not crazy complex, fairly straightforward. Given that, are you surprised that there, are still those type of major miscommunications?
Frustrated, very frustrated. But at the same time, I know our guys are working their tails off. I know they are. I know that they're very deliberate in how they practice. I know that it's very, very important to them. So I know it's going to get better. You see the flashes. Again, you can go every game, and there's a block of plays where those guys are executing and performing at a very high level, and they look unbelievable. And when we trip over ourselves, it looks horrendous. But they are getting better. They have great intent, and so there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to finish the season very, very strong, not only as a defense but as an organization. So I just look forward to this next challenge and being able to compete with the Rams. So it'll be fun.
When you watch the Rams offense on film, how similar does it seem to the offense you see every day, and what unique challenges does it present?
It's very similar. Obviously, they've got their nuances, but the efficiency at which they operate, same thing with Kyle. They're very efficient. They're very precise. They're relentless in the way they attack you. So it's then you mix it in with the quarterback playing the way he is, their O-line, the receivers, the back. I mean, it's a special group, and they've got a great scheme to go with it. So when you have a great scheme and a mixture of all those guys, it's pretty cool to watch, because I feel like it's like the defensive version or the offensive version of the way we try to operate on defense. Very efficient, very precise, and so again, it'll be a great challenge.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.